Truck carrying dead migrants passed through U.S. checkpoint. So, you may have heard this story over the last, I don't know what time is anymore. But you may have heard this story. There was a truck found with, I believe, around 50 dead immigrants or would-be immigrants. And this is how mainstream media is reporting it. So, this is the New York Times I'm reading from. Border Patrol officials say truck traffic is too voluminous to check every vehicle at the dozens of immigration checkpoints on roadways near the border. So, instead of talking about how having bizarre closed borders and having extremely strict and oppressive immigration policies kills people, mainstream media and Republicans are going to steer this conversation into open borders. Open borders! The demon rats have open borders and the migrants just come on through the caravan. Again, 50 people died. That's a horrible fucking story. But you're not going to be seeing anything other than using their deaths as a political cudgel to attack the demon rats and their open border policy. San Antonio, a tractor trailer that ended up in San Antonio with more than 50 dead or dying migrants passed through a federal immigration checkpoint inside the United States without being inspected, a top Mexican official said on Wednesday. The truck crossed the checkpoint operated by the Border Patrol shortly before 3 p.m. Now again, this is the start of the story. Not, what led to 50 people dying? Was it excessive heat conditions? Lack of cooling, lack of water? Horrendous border policies that made them afraid to immigrate in a safer way? The Mexican official also said the rig had been driven by a Border Patrol station in the town of Cotula. The station does not operate a highway checkpoint. The truck stopped roughly 3 hours later alongside a desolate road just off the highway with the people inside either already dead or struggling to stay alive. A young girl managed to climb out and cry for help. I didn't get her name or think to ask where she came from, said Roberto Quintero, who came up upon the truck and called 911. She just kept hanging on my arms, screaming, "Help me, help me." In Spanish, officials said on Wednesday that at least 53 of the 64 people inside, men, women, and some children, who came from countries including Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, died from the extreme heat inside the truck. Mass death of children. And the headline is, can you believe of these open borders? This is why I'm in favor of open borders. Now, again, literally what caused this scenario is the exact opposite of open borders. If we had open borders, people would not be hiding in the back of a truck that's 60 fucking degrees centigrade and dying of exhaustion and heat. If we had open borders, people would walk through, give your name, blah, 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 where you're going to stay, and then just walk on through without being threatened or killed or whipped or tied up by some freaks on horses or something, right? So again, this is when we talk about borders. I talk about borders not as much as I should maybe. But why I'm in favor of open border policies is because closed borders gets people killed. There's 64 people, 53 of which are dead, and the rest of them are probably extremely traumatized. They're going to be traumatized. Imagine being that kid who climbs out the truck screaming for help. Imagine watching 53 people die around you. Could you imagine that? You're stuck inside a giant metal tube. You're a child, and you're watching one by one as 53 people around you drop dead and die. And the way mainstream media and politicians are talking about this is just for politics, for political gain. The open border policies of the Biden administration, that's all they're saying. did not have any working cooling system on a day that temperatures topped 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Several others were still being treated in local hospitals. Governor Greg Abbott cited the failure of the federal checkpoint to detect the people being smuggled and smuggled. Like, again, the language that we use to treat people. Smuggled. It's so ridiculous. It's made up. It's made up. In the same way that you can't smuggle drugs, you cannot smuggle a human. It's made up. These policies are made up. So now Governor Greg Abbott is saying he's going to order Texas State Police to create their own checkpoints to inspect trucks. He did not say what those inspections would entail, blah, blah, blah. The governor also said that Texas police officers would increase their searches for stash houses that hide migrants in so-called cloned vehicles. So now I just want to note, this is the New York Times. So the New York Times writes this article by James Dobbins, J. David Goodman, and Miriam Jordan. 3 garbage, scumbag, shit for brains, evil, morally bankrupt, douchebag cocksuckers. The article is not about how we can make migrating healthier and easier on people so that people don't die. The article is basically saying that these people are objects. They're contraband, right? They're not humans. And then the first politician that they quote is Greg Abbott, who's saying that he's going to increase police presence and going to stop and frisk more people, pull more people over, and violate more people's rights just to catch smuggled people. Like, again, stash houses. The language that's being used here is ridiculous. Stash houses. These are human fucking beings. And these people are using language such as stash houses and smuggling to describe human beings, children that are dead. Federal immigration officials have claimed success at capturing migrants seeking to enter the country illegally and have cited the use of audio and video surveillance as a network of vehicle. Claimed success at capturing migrants. As if they're dogs. As if they're in the Wild West trying to, like, use a lasso on a horse. This is fucking, it's absurd. I saw this the other day, and I was going to talk about it the other day. But, you know, this is a really hard thing to talk about, so I didn't. But this fucking shit is ridiculous. Like, it's horrible. This is the New York Times. Is peddling neo-Nazi, ultra-conservative, closed borders fascism in their propaganda. That's what this is. This is far-right neo-Nazi propaganda being printed in the New York Times. It's not just racist language. It is dehumanizing. Praising politicians for advocating for a bigger police state. The fact that a tractor-trailer hauling scores of migrants could elude detection underscore... Again, 53 people, including children, are dead. And we're talking about them as if, like, it's like bricks of cocaine or something, which also shouldn't be illegal. And you should be able to just declare, yeah, I'm bringing in cocaine into the country. Because you can declare, oh, I'm bringing some soda pop into the country. Why not cocaine? Right? This whole drug war, fucking stupid. Right? But again, these are human beings being treated as objects, being treated as some illegal substance. I'm going to turn my AC on. One sec. Getting a little hot in here. A little sweaty. Apologies if it's loud. Amid the seemingly endless stream of truck traffic up and down the commercial corridors linking the United States and Mexico, a spokeswoman for Homeland Security Investigations declined to comment on how the tractor-trailer, which had Texas plates, smoothly passed through a federal checkpoint. Who cares? Counterpoint, who cares? Counterpoint, go fuck yourself. Counterpoint, who the fuck cares? Children are in the hospital dying, having watched 50... And again, I want you to imagine the scenario. You are a child, I don't know, 10 years old. You watch your parents die. You watch 51 other people die. And then the media treats you as if, like, you're a fucking brick of heroin. And imagine what these people are going to have to deal with when they recover in the hospital. They're going to wake up to some jackbooted fucking Gestapo agents that are getting ready to ship them back into a country. It costs more money to deport people than it would be to just give them a house, a place to stay, and process them through the system. More money to deport them. So it's not about cost saving. It's not, oh, we don't have the money to accept these people. Again, not one bit of this article so far is talking at all about the humanity of these people. Governor Abbott's announcement of the new checkpoints comes a little more than 2 months after he briefly introduced a similar strategy near international crossings, directing the state police. Who cares? State police are also not legally permitted to make universal inspections of vehicles for hidden people or other contraband. The language, other contraband, not contraband. Not contraband, not hidden people or contraband. Hidden people or other contraband. That is to say, the hidden people are contraband. As in to say, they are not people. They're equivalent to, like, bricks of heroin or cocaine or whatever the fuck. Is this a joke? The people who wrote this should be ashamed of themselves. If anyone needs to get deported, if anyone needs to be given taxpayer resources to get deported from this fucking country, it's James Dobbins, J. David Goodman, and Miriam Jordan. They need to get the fuck out of this country, because this country is horrible with these people's involvement in it. These are disgusting, racist, scumbag motherfuckers. These people need to be heckled. These people need to be fired. These people need to have people show up outside their house with megaphones calling them the racist scumbags that they fucking are. You should be afraid to post this kind of blatant neo-Nazi propaganda in mainstream media. But there's never going to be accountability for this fucking shit. It's garbage. Like, this whole thing is just describing how Border Patrol works. Who fucking cares? Can we get updates on the 53 dead people and the 11 people that are in critical condition? Can we get any updates? There's no updates. It's just like, oh yeah, the driver, the checkpoint, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. J. David Goodman is the Houston bureau chief covering Texas. He has written about government, criminal justice, and the role of money in politics. Garbage. At J. David Goodman on Twitter. Everyone, in my opinion, should send this guy some really kindly worded materials on twitter.com. This racist piece of shit, scumbag garbage can man needs to know that this fucking shit is unacceptable. Miriam Jordan reports from the grassroots perspective. The grassroots perspective on immigrants and their impact on demographics, society, and the economy of the United States. What? What? The grassroots perspective is comparing immigrants to contraband and illegal items and objects? That's the grassroots fucking perspective? Is this a fucking joke? Anyway, this is the only guy that has, like, any social media links. This is a fucking racist scumbag. I mean, Jesus Christ. That shit's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. That shit's fucking ridiculous, man. I mean, like, these people need to be ashamed. These people need to be fired. These people should not be allowed to write this kind of garbage. In the same way that I don't think people should be able to post neo-Nazi propaganda on fucking Stormfront or on Breitbart or whatever, I think those people should be heckled into oblivion. I think New York fucking Times reporters that compare human beings who died in a mass death tragedy to illegal drugs, these people are garbage. They're garbage. They're garbage. This is a stain on America. If anyone should be fucking deported, it's this fucking scumbag. And the rest, the grassroots perspective. Reading this article from the New York Times, did you get anything out of the grassroots perspective? What the fuck is this garbage? This is fucking trash. The grassroots fucking perspective. Jesus Christ. It's ridiculous. Anyway, it's gonna get worse.